I'm not making fun of this list. I just want you to understand this list in this current market environment we're in. You guys have got to understand it is absolutely golden right now. Okay. Homeowners are struggling to sell their houses. Realtors don't have answers for them, and time is ticking. And as the days on market, which we call the DOM, go up, okay, and then the price goes down, guess what? The motivation is going to shoot way up. Keep in mind, all these houses on the market, number one, they all want to sell. Number two, the longer they sit, the more frustrated they get. And number three, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So if you call 300 FSBOs, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I'm pretty much going to give you an idea. You call 300, I promise you, you're going to find 2 or 3 that want to work with you. It's a numbers game, guys. That's it. So many of you just want to call like 5 or 6 and get it. I want that too. But the reality is, if you're going to do FSBOs, it's a numbers game. It works really well. I got to be honest with you, in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been okay. But you are in a buyer's market right now. There are more people selling a home than there are buying it, and you should take full advantage of it, okay? I'm going to go through that one quickly because you guys already know about that one. The next one. And I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it works, okay? Lawyers have a lot of pull in the real estate industry, specifically real estate lawyers, specifically probate lawyers, okay? So I want you to understand this is much more of a networking event, okay? You cannot cold call realtors. I'm not realtors, attorneys. You're never going to get through it. It's just a waste of time, and honestly, it's just going to burn your relationship. So whenever you have a closing or you're at a title company or there's ever a lawyer involved there, that is the time to introduce yourself, let them know what you do, and let them know the services you offer. You cannot cold call. Please don't give this to a VA. It will not work. Time will get you connections that are unbelievable. I work with about 4 rock solid attorneys in my local market here, and each one of them feed me at least 2 to 3 deals a year. Do the math on that. Guys, I put in 20 years to make those relationships. I didn't do it in 2 weeks, okay? On average, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to crack that code, but it is well worth it, okay? So don't overlook that. So these are kind of the easy ones. So let's start digging in and start having fun with it. The last kind of obvious one, but I'm giving you a little bit twist, is realtors. And so many of you guys think realtors are like the kiss of death. And for the most part, they are in wholesaling. Let's just say it like it is. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But when we get challenging times like this in a buyer's market, meaning there's more buyers than there are, there's more sellers than there are buyers, realtors are now open to you, okay? You can't go in and say, I'm a wholesaler. You can't do that. Hey, listen, I buy properties for cash. If you ever come across a house that's not in good shape or needs repairs, let me know, and I'm happy to pay your full commission. All realtors want to know is they are going to get paid and you'll close. Okay, we'll work on the closing part, okay? But if you speak with them from the point of, I'm going to get you paid, I'm not going to cut you out, and I'm going to close, then they'll listen to you. If you do anything else, it is not. So Thomas asked, hey, Rick, are you really live? Of course I'm live. Everything I do is live. I don't hide behind any type of prompter or anything like that. I'm just shooting from the hip talking to you guys. So if you want me to prove it, it's Friday, 5:20 Eastern Standard Time. What is it? The 28th. Okay. We're live. Okay. So those are the obvious ones. So I just want you to understand, when it comes to FSBOs, it is a numbers game. People are much more open to talk to you right now because they're not getting nearly the action. Look for days on markets that are up 60 to 100 days plus. Look for multiple price reductions. And then once you get those two, the motivation usually scales up really quick, because people sell houses for a reason. Why? Because they want to get rid of the headache, or they want to get rid of the payment, or they need the money to do something else. So Hold on. Let me fix the spammers. There you go. Enjoy yourself. Um, so I appreciate you. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it. I got a long way to go to be a legend. I'm somewhat of a humble person because I've done the struggle, guys. I promise you. So with lawyers, stop trying to cold call them. Do not outsource that task. You have to do it. Connect through your title companies, connect through any type of closings you have, and do an introduction and just do a meet and greet and work with it over time. It is well worth the investment because when a lawyer tells you to buy a probate, they are giving you the ones that they can't move with normal realtors. So I want you to understand. And then realtors, guys, they are wide open to talk to us right now. I have talked to 3 realtors this week that I haven't heard from in 4 years, and they want to help. Why? Because they can't move their inventory. And now, listen, I'll move your inventory, but it is going to be a significant discount. This is what I do. And eventually somebody always caves, guys. So you need to understand that. Okay, so let's get to the fun stuff, okay? And then I'm going to get to these lives because I want to talk to as many people as I can today. Next one. And I shared this a couple weeks ago. You guys, now listen, your title companies are wonderful. They're really an integral part of your team. And I want you to understand title companies are a plethora of information. My suggestion is you go long and deep with your relationships with your title company, office parties, birthday parties, get to know the owner. If you're not at your title company's owner's house for like holidays, picnics, 4th of July, you're missing the boat, guys. Once you connect with the owner of a title company or its critical employees, as I call it, you can find out anything you want to know about anybody in the business. Are they supposed to tell you? Most likely not. But the reality is they know who all the solid cash buyers are. They know who all the realtors are that mover shakers. Guess what? They're going to tell you the highest quality hard money lenders around. They're also going to tell you who your soft money lenders are. Guys, I get more information from a title company than I could get from any one of our data services. And I'm telling you, I am not making this up, guys. I spend a lot of time investing with title companies. It's all about time, and it's what you need to understand to make it work. So I want you to understand title companies, they deal with the buyers, they deal with the sellers, they deal with the landlords. You know how many landlords they sell and buy properties for? They deal with the financing. You ready for this? And they deal with the lawyers. Okay? It is an entire one-stop shop place to go. Okay? The problem is a lot of you guys try to take this down on day one. You've got to build relationships and get to know people. And I'm telling you, most people in a title company, they're overworked and they're underpaid, and they truly want to help you succeed. So this is how you get the best rates. This is how you get a deal on all your HUD fees. And once you know who the players are and they tell you is, they will give you an introduction that would take you years to get. So some of my best introductions of how I find a lot of up and coming new rock star wholesalers is the title companies bring them to me. They're like, hey, you got to meet Rick, dude. He's been doing this forever. You're going to love working with him. And then I say, hey, listen, why don't we work together? And we want to split a few deals. Some of them I stay with, some we part friends. And I could never do that without my title company. If you guys do not take advantage of your title company, you are seriously missing out on the boat here. Okay, so this one is absolutely huge, and I'm using it right now, and I'm having good success with you. I'm going to share more numbers with you, okay? Property management companies. Now, well, Rick, how is that a list? I promise you they have a list in there. So my average property management company is tied to a real estate broker. And the reason for it is because it's a lead center. It's a magnet. Okay. If people buy a property, you can manage here. And when you're done with it, they can sell it for you. It is perfect because they can basically have 3 different profit centers, which is great. I don't want to be a realtor, but what happens when you get, so my average, I have one over here ready for this. It's got 1,200 properties management. What percentage of those properties you think are a complete dump and a nightmare? Okay, you ready for this? 10 to 12% on average need help. I'm not kidding you. I've done the numbers. I made it up. So on average, that means there's at least 1,200 properties that I have a shot at buying. Guess what the key to working with property management company? You can't just go in, hey, give me your tire, give me your week, I'll buy it. You have to, they are realtors. So if they're realtors, they're all licensed. Okay. How do you talk to them? That's right. Let them know you want to pay them a full commission. And they will tell you, and by the way, most of them are the bottom line employees that are paid hourly. It's usually the nice young ladies in the front office. And they go, man, this guy's got 8 properties. He will not put a nickel into them. We can't keep a tenant in there. It's been vacant for 6 months. Hey, can I give you an offer? Is there any way you can try to push it through? And she's going to come back, Rick, I'll give you an offer. This is what he wants. He wants someone that'll close fast with like no hassles, all cash. I'm like, okay, I can do it. Get on a contract. We take a look at it. And we just make sure we pay their commission. Now, we pay the commissions. The seller doesn't pay it. I know that goes against the grain, but I'm telling you guys, there is a lot of deals in property management companies. You just got to find a way to access them. Now, you're not going to find them online. You can Google search and find the companies. What I like to do is reverse engineer property management companies and find them through their local real estate brokers and manage them like that. This is a local business. If you try to hire a national property management company, you're probably going to be wasting your time. Everybody knows good management is done at the local level. It is part of real estate. So property managers are absolutely key. So the next one, which is people just like, I don't understand this one. Bail bondsman. I think it's MAN. Okay. Now, I found this one by accident because I bought a property through a bail bondsman. And so understand a bail bonds, just to give you a quick crash course, somebody gets arrested, they get detained, and for them to get out, they've got to make bond. So for the court's assurances for them to come back, they usually in exchange of money, and then you got to show up to court and then you get your money back. That's the simple math of it. Depending on the degree of the crime you committed and how often you've committed, a judge will set bail. Now, most bails are pretty, $5,000 or less, which is not a big deal. But the reality is sometimes bonds are $10,000, $50,000 or $100,000. But most people who go to jail don't have money to pay these huge bail bonds. So a bail bondsman basically sells an insurance policy. They underwrite it and they assure you they're going to show up for court, and you pay a 10 to 12% premium. So if I had a $10,000 bond, I could pay $1,000 bond and then I could get out. And then plus they're going to get interest and stuff like that. If I don't show back up to court, what they do is the bigger bonds, if people don't have money, they'll secure it against a piece of real estate. And they'll only do it usually if they're in a high equity position, usually a first position, and they put a lien on the property. And until you square that up, they won't take the lien off. And then if something goes south and they can't pay it back, they have the ability to foreclose on the house. I'm telling you, bail bondsmen, you'd be shocked how much property these guys deal with. Now, these aren't your average people. Do not show up there at night. Do not be aggressive when you go there. This is like 10 to 3 o'clock operation, and you just got to spend time. Most bail bondsmen are passed down generation to generation. And it's within the family, and they just don't let strangers in overnight. So once again, you've heard the theme of these secret lists. You have to build relationships. Find your local bail bondsman. Just get to know them. Ask them if they have any properties. And in a market like this, in a buyer's market, a down market, they are more apt to sell properties or sell their liens and put you in a position where you can get a great deal on a property, because in the end, they just want to get paid and they want to pay their bonds back and they want to pay their employees. So keep that in mind. Okay. So I said, be smart about the bail bondsmen. Don't be super aggressive. Some of these have 100-year histories in the family. Like, it's really cool stories. So it took me 5 years to really connect with my local bail bonds because I was trying to underwrite a deal. We were doing a short sale way back in 2009, and that's how I found it. And by the way, all these I'm presenting to you, I found by accident. I didn't find them on purpose, and they're not taught commonly in wholesaling. Okay. So now we moved on to bail bondsmen. I'm going to change my color ink to keep you guys awake here. Okay. The next one, estate sales, or sometimes people call them estate companies. Okay. These are simply companies that most often advertise in old school type of newspapers because older people still read newspapers. I kind of miss touching the newspaper. I'm not going to lie to you. But I've switched over to the digital age. I know I'm old. And these companies help families or individuals, particularly older people that have collected a bunch of junk, and they typically they need help cleaning it out. It's too overwhelming, especially in the hot summer or in the brutal parts of the winter. So they hire these companies to put on these estate sales. Most of the time when these estate sale companies are called out, they're looking at properties. They're not hoarder properties, but they're really crowded with a bunch of junk. And most of these people are prime to sell their property. Now, the estate company establishes first contact. And if you can strike a relationship with the estate sales companies, you can have a shot. Say, listen, you can have all the stuff you want in the house. I'll give you all the space and time. I just want to buy the real estate, and I'm happy to pay you a finder's fee to do it. 9 times out of 10, they're very happy to do it. Most estate sales companies, they don't want to deal with property at all. And the ones that do deal with it, they typically refer to real estate agents. So if you want to skip one of the barriers to entry to dealing with an estate sale company, go straight to them. The best place to do is you can still find them online. Craigslist, there's a lot. Old school newspapers, or if you go in those old diners and like the advertising, like the Orange Gazelle or the Orange Blossom, whatever they call it. A lot of them are in there. Older people tend to read those, and they like to really do those. And I will tell you, I've got some of the best deals ever from a estate sales company. Remember, you want to focus on the real estate. Don't focus on the junk inside the house. It's nothing but a shiny distraction, and you're not going to make money selling furniture. I don't want you to run a thrift store. The money is always going to be in the real estate. If you do anything else, it's a distraction. How do I know this? Because I've sold cars, boats, RVs, campers. It's an incredible amount of energy. I don't want to do it. Okay. I don't do garage sales. I don't do any of that stuff. Which leads me to our next one. Garage sales. And I've talked about this before, but I want to go in a little bit more depth. Okay. Well, Rick, how the heck is a garage sale? Oh yeah. Okay. They're moving. No. You're looking for garage sales from absentee owners. Well, Rick, that doesn't make sense. Okay. What's an absentee owner? An absentee owner is a landlord. Occasionally it's a second home, but for the most part, they wind up being landlords. So when you have a landlord and there's a garage sale, and remember the landlord doesn't live there, what do you think is happening? Think about this. Who's selling the junk to move out of the house? That's right. You guessed it. It's the tenant. Okay. So when tenants are doing what we call a midnight move out, how are you going to take advantage of a tenant moving out of a property that's advertised a garage sale? Okay. You are going to call the owner. Okay. So once you get a spreadsheet of garage sales, which you can find in Facebook groups, you can find online, Craigslist, whatever, even cities now, they issue permits for these things, if you can believe that or not, is skip trace, call the owner and just say, listen, do you have interest in selling the property? Now, if they don't, I'm going to pleasantly take that time, just like, listen, he goes, how'd you find my house? I actually drove by and there's a garage sale going on out front. And that's usually when the sticker shock is going to hit them. Like, so you just gave them valuable information on their tenant because the tenant probably is going to trash the house. Tenants that do not tell their landlords they're moving out and having garage sales is a big surprise to them. And then whenever there's a change of residency or there is a damage to the property, you have a high probability of getting a deal. So what you can do is simply scrape your garage sales locally. I look for the absentee owners. If you want, you can look for like regular owners, but the problem is the regular owners, there's people who chronically do garage sales. If you can believe that or not, you'll see the same people every week have a garage sale. You want to avoid those people like the plague. You want that person that's looking to move fast. Now, for the record, I have gone to a garage sale and bought a house, but those aren't the typical ones that you're going to have success in. You're looking for ones where the renter is initiating the garage sale and you're reaching out to the absentee owner, aka landlord, and letting them know, hey, I really want to buy your house. No, I got a long-term tenant in there. I go, well, I drove by and there's a garage sale. That's why I wanted to reach out and talk to you. Can I take a look at the house? Everything's out of it. They look like all the furniture look like a mess. And that will open up a conversation to hopefully open up their motivation. And that should work out like really well. So kind of running out of space here, but we'll figure this out. The next one, trying to keep you guys awake here. I know stuff gets boring, but it's exciting as I can make it. Facebook groups. Now, this has been really kind of brought about in the last few years, but Facebook groups are a very, very powerful place to find people. You're going to find people with motivation. Now, here's the key is a lot of you guys think, okay, well, Facebook group, Rick, I already messed with the investor groups. That's the wrong place. That's why you're not having success there. So find Facebook groups of common interest of things you already a member of. If you're part of a fishing community, an RV community, a boating community, I don't care, a dog lover community. And just by simply posting in there, if anybody has interest in selling a home, I would love to talk to you because you already have a natural connection with that group. And you would be surprised how many people go out and do this. This is the so-called free hack that somebody was charging $3,000 for. We've been doing this since day one. Like, so nobody owns this. I think they called it like a zero marketing method. It's pointless. So I'm telling you, man, Jason, on the garage sales, I do it. I wrote, I have a detailed plan on actually how to do it with a VA and everything. And I might put in the course. It's a little bit more advanced, but all you are is regularly scraping the garage sales and basically seeing if you have an absentee owner, and then you're reaching out and contacting them. That's it. It takes a little bit of work to put the list together, but it works. And if you do it on a consistent basis, you are going to find opportunity on it. They are not your regular garage sale, guys. I got to let you know that. If you want to do all garage sales, you can do it. Just get rid of the chronic ones that are in between on it. Okay. So what you want to do is find hobby groups. Okay. And you want to do ones where you're established. Okay. So you guys know I love the fish. I love anything to do with MMA. I love football. And so I'd go in groups like that. Hey, it's just to let anybody know, if you ever want to sell your house, I'm a cash buyer. And the reason for doing that is, so guys, you just got to ignore the spammers that put this stuff in there. I think it's just so funny. But we block them after this when I do it. But as we get bigger, we have to deal with it. So find established groups. Once you're established there, there's a little bit of rapport there. Guys, realtors been doing this trick forever. You guys can do the same thing. Now, can you hire a VA to do this? Yeah, it's a little less authentic, but nobody can tell who's behind the screen because you have the ability to share your Facebook status if you want to bring other people in to work it. How do I know this? Because I've seen it happen to me. I'm telling you guys, this stuff happens all the time. So I'm going to share one more with you. I wasn't even going to give you this one, but I'm going to do it. Okay. This isn't so much of a list as more of a tactic. Okay. And it's bird dog, or you can call it bird dogging. Okay. I can tell you, dude, I make a fortune off bird dogging. I once created a software and I just gave up on it because I've value my time and I am a better real estate investor, wholesaler. I am not a software guy. So I invested a ton of money and I gave up on it, but I made a lot of money. And I still do to this day. A bird dog is someone who basically finds you a lead. Okay. The best type of bird dogs, just so you know, number one by far are bartenders. Why? Because people go to a bar to tell you all their problems in life. Okay. And what happens with problems? Problems lead to signs of motivation. Okay. Problems are their motivation. And if you know that up front, bartenders hear everything. Like bartenders have the key to anybody's head. Like, no, so don't get me wrong. Bartenders, if you are a bartender, like let me know in the comments here, because you guys are much more than a mixologist. You have to deal with people's emotions. You got to deal with their money. And obviously, when they have too much to drink, they tell you a lot of things they should never even tell you. So it is important to understand bartenders are amazing. Some of my best sales reps have been previous bartenders. Okay. Used car sales goes without saying. They just know everybody. So find that person that knows everybody. You all have them in your community. There's some of your friends. They might be your family. They know everybody. Okay. I have bought at least 300 homes from people I know personally in wholesaling. Now, I've been doing this 20 years, but like it adds up over time, guys. And I'm here to tell you, you're overlooking some basic things. So here's a couple key things you got to understand with bird dogs. Their only job is to locate. The one thing they never do is negotiate. They are terrible at it. Okay? Do not let a bird dog negotiate. Just let them find you a deal. I have people to this day in my wholesaling community, locally where I am in Florida, that do not want to ever talk to a seller because it's very overwhelming to them. But they'll give me the lead, say, listen, I talked to her. She said she needs to sell it. She was going to call a realtor or one of those cash guys. And I told her that you're going to call her directly. And then what I do is I give them a finder's fee for it. Now, you can't pay them on the HUD because that's illegal unless they're licensed to sell real estate license. So, but you can give them a marketing fee. You can do whatever you want through your company. You just can't pay them on the HUD, guys. Okay. And if you go out and solicit a promise for payment, if I successfully close, you're most likely breaking a statute in your state, and you want to stop doing that if you're doing that. Okay. Ask me how I know. So it's really important that you understand how that works. So guys, I love bird dogs, and I would love for someone to put a piece of software together where you can pay them and like get them all going. And the problem with bird dogs is they do overwhelm you, and a lot of them want like free mentoring, and like they don't want to like listen to anything you have to say. And you get a ton of phone calls and texts. So it's a little bit challenging, but if like you're good with that stuff, and with today's technology with Google and FaceTime and Facebook and everything, sharing docs, it's easier than ever. Go out and find a bunch of people that find you deals, and then offer them a reward if they can connect you with someone. Now, remember, it cannot be dependent on a sale because that's defined as a commission, but you can give them a marketing fee. I actually had people set up where I set the criteria for it. Now, I don't want them scraping on Craigslist. I'm looking for authentic, organic leads. And when you get them, then you can pay them a marketing fee. You can pay them $5 per lead. You can give them $20. It doesn't matter. You just can't tie it to the success of a deal unless you are licensed, because it creates problems for you. So I love bird dogs. Guys, I want you to think about bird dogs. And the bird dogs is you can put flyers up at colleges. You can put them up on like local community boards. It doesn't matter. If you guys, when I started out in wholesaling, you ready for this? I created a real estate investment group. And then I had hundreds of people come, and those were my bird dogs. So you guys could simply do a meetup group. Okay. This is a tactic a lot of people use, and it actually works, is you put out a meetup group. I think it costs $50, $100 to set it up, and you announce it, and you either do a lunch or you do something in the evening. Find a place that's free. You don't have to spend money to do this, and get people together and go, listen, here's what I'm looking for. And just teach them about driving for dollars. Okay. And then just teach them about ugly houses, and then teach them about motivated sellers. Guys, all these like I could go on forever on list. You are not limited by what people tell you. You're only limited by what you think. So you guys think you need all these resources. You technically don't. You just need to use your resourcefulness to find deals. Don't think like the average person. You're a wholesaler. You have to think above other people. And I'm not talking down about it. It's just, there is no book on, hey, you have to go here. When I started, I was told, well, you can only deal with high equity absentee owners. That's the only place you're going to get deals. That's how I was taught this business. Thank God I broke out of that mold, because I broke out of it very quickly. And I was told you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. And I kept questioning it. Same thing I did in school. I got diagnosed with ADHD.